Its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world.
That was President Trump back in April revealing his plan for reciprocal tariffs on countries around the world on what he called Liberation Day. In Washington today, lawyers will be defending a decision in May against those tariffs. Earlier this year, the U.S. Court of International Trade ruled against the White House and in favor of a group of small businesses that argued the president went outside his constitutional authority to declare national emergencies and impose the tariff. Our next guest joined the case after the Trump administration appealed. Let's bring in now attorney Neil Katyal. He's a former acting Solicitor General of the United States and an MSNBC contributor. So, Neil, why don't we get right to it with, I'm sure, the arguments that the Trump administration is going to put out there. And the first one is on determining whether there's a national emergency or not because of trade deficits. That's a decision that should be made, a political decision that should be made by Congress and or the president, certainly not the judiciary. What do you say to that?
So thank you, Joe, for having me. And I'm about to go off and argue this case in court in a couple hours. And I want to be very respectful to the court. And so I'm not here to try and argue the case in front of you as much as to just outline for your viewers the issues in the case. And as you say, the president is saying he on his own, with his say-so, can impose these tariffs. And that is something no president in 200 years has ever thought. The tariff power, goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War and, the protests and the Boston Tea Party and the like. And our Constitution was very clear in saying, there's one branch that has the power to tariff, and it isn't the president and it isn't the courts. It's the Congress of the United States. And that's how we've always done tariffs in this country. And so maybe these tariffs that President Trump has imposed are a good idea or a bad idea. They cost every American household about $1,300 a year annually, and maybe that's worth it. I don't know. But that's something that Congress should be deciding. That's what we're going to basically say today.
But Neil, hasn't Congress traditionally deferred in certain areas on tariffs to presidents in the past?
Nope, never. So Congress has always been zealously guarding of its authority. So even like, for example, take the Civil War, the Congress gave President Lincoln all sorts of powers, including the power to blockade and ban all products from the South. But the one thing they didn't do was grant him the tariff power. And that's because tariffs are something that our constitutional founders recognized, they're so tempting for kings and presidents to use. And so our founders said, we have to locate this power in a different branch, the branch that's closest to the people, the Congress. And specifically, they said, if you're raising revenue, you've got to originate that bill in the House of Representatives. None of that's happened here. And the way, Joe, we've always historically done things when presidents want to have some trade authority, want to do something, negotiate a deal, threaten a tariff or something, is they go to Congress in advance and get that approval. They don't just on their own just say, hey, I know what's best, and blow off the Congress. It's very much like what President Truman in 1952 did when he tried to seize the steel mills, which the Supreme Court said was illegal.
So you're saying that if I remember headlines about Ronald Reagan or George H.W. Bush or Bill Clinton or any president imposing tariffs on French wine or on Soviet grain, you're saying that only happens after Congress authorizes that through a bill?
Yes, that's exactly right. Every time Congress has authorized the president to have a power to tariff, and they have like 7 or 8 different times, it's very specific. It says so clearly in the law, and they have all sorts of restrictions on the time, place, and manner of those tariffs. And here the president has come in and said, I can blow all of that off and do whatever I want, whenever I want.
So I know you're not going to argue the case here. I'm just fascinated by this. So you're saying, well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth because I'm not saying you are. It would seem to me then if that is the case, then the argument today boils down to whether this president has the ability to declare an emergency and use that emergency to impose tariffs. Is that at the heart of this debate?
Yes, I think that's right. That's what the president is saying. It's an emergency. I can do whatever I want. And that is something the Supreme Court has rejected time and time again. They rejected it with President Truman and the steel mills. They rejected it with President Bush and Guantanamo. They rejected it with President Bush also with respect to the Medellin case. So this is like something that, the Supreme Court's ruled on many times. And so I think it's a very, we'll see. I'm interested in the court's questions today, but just through the lens of history, the arguments that President Trump are making today are not ones that have convinced courts in the past.
Jonathan Lemire has the next question. Jonathan, I'm curious, though, how's the White House seeing this hearing and this argument?
They recognize it's an important moment. In fact, we've heard from President Trump just a short time ago on his Truth Social site, suggesting that if our country, I'll just read it, if our country was not able to protect itself by using tariffs against tariffs, we would be, quote, dead with no chance of survival or success. And then he adds, thank you for your attention to this matter. So, Neil, good to see you this morning. Again, understandably, you're not arguing the case, but clearly the president is putting forth with this post and the White House all along a very broad sense of executive power. One, to this point, the court has been pretty sympathetic in hearing. How will that factor in to arguments you're making, today, and the bigger picture of where the tariffs fit in the relationship between these branches of government?
Yeah, I think what the president just said there, and I'm just hearing it for the first time, it really just cuts against him. I mean, if it's so important to have tariffs, go to Congress and get them authorized like every other president has done. And, I know the president tried to do that in his first term, and that legislation failed. So, I think that's the way that our founders have said so. And the Supreme Court has said time and again that when you have a kind of major question like that, something that's that important, Congress needs to speak clearly and give the president that power. So if President Trump is right, this power is so important, that's all the more reason why our founders, our constitutional structure, all demand go to Congress and get it done. And, I'd point out this is not a Congress that's particularly obstructionist when it comes to the president. And it's pretty telling to me that he's been afraid to go to the Congress and get them to ratify what he says is super important.
So, Neil, I'm going to assume some of the language that was just used by Attorney Scarborough when I ask you. It would seem to me that given the scope of the legislation that you're talking about today in front of the court, that people going out to buy a Toyota or whatever car they're going to purchase in the next 2 or 3 months, or whatever product they're going to purchase in the next 3 months after tariffs have been imposed, and they're paying an additional fee for that car because of the tariffs, then tariffs are actually taxes. And taxes are the prime responsibility of the American Congress to legislate over, to rule over one way or another, vote one way or another on taxes. Does that make your case today easier to make?
Yes, you've said it beautifully. That is exactly our point. And, the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation has concluded that President Trump's tariffs are the largest tax increase on American households since 1993 in Bill Clinton. So, again, maybe that's something we want to do. Maybe it's not. I'm not here to debate the wisdom of it, but I teach constitutional law. It's what I think about every day and night. And I can tell you that the founders would have never, ever permitted a president to do what President Trump is seeking to do here.
All right, Neil Katyal, thank you very much. And as the president would say, thank you for your attention to this matter. Still ahead.